1 a.m., I believe, here. And I slept at 7 o'clock. I woke up just recently and I decided, you know what, I'd rather just shoot the video today than tomorrow because I may not shoot tomorrow. So here we go. I want to talk to you, as usual, about the connection between stress and our health, which I talk about a lot on this channel. And I want to, I guess, dedicate the rest of this video to a quote that I saw on Instagram, which is, "Your cells are eavesdropping on your thoughts." Your cells are eavesdropping on your thoughts, meaning whatever you think, your body is going to take on. And if you've heard of that book, The Body Keeps the Score, it's basically about how everything that happens to you takes a physical form on your body. So any trauma, any negative thoughts, any form of bullying, any kind of low self-esteem, that takes a physical form. And we already know that stress is the main culprit for a lot of the mental and physical illnesses that we experience, because the way that we are living our lives today is not how our body was made to live. I made a really good video. It's called Are Black People Lazy? And in this video I talk about how Africa used to be, how we used to live across Africa. And not just Africa, Asia as well, you know, globally before colonization, we used to chill. And chilling is extremely important for our survival. So if you haven't watched that video, watch it after this video. But I believe it's the main video of this page. I recently said it, so if you don't find it, just search it. Are Black people lazy? I have 2 videos like this, and the truth is, we're not lazy, obviously. We just used to value, and I say used to because we're not like this anymore. Unfortunately, the capitalistic way of life has seeped its way across the globe, and we are experiencing and we're seeing way more physical and mental illnesses globally because of this system that was kind of forced on us through colonization. But anyway, I don't want to go off topic, but when I say your cells are eavesdropping on your thoughts, think about that for a second. If you are negative, if you are angry, if you're experiencing all these emotions, which by the way are really normal, okay, so I'm not shaming you. These emotions are very normal. These thoughts are normal. In fact, our brain's default is to be negative. That's the default. It was made to keep us safe. And in order to keep us safe, we have to really be critical about everything that's around us. But, you know, how we were made was to experience a bit of stress and then revert back to being calm. But in today's world, especially as Black people, we cannot be calm. It's very difficult for us to be calm. Before I continue, I want to say, like this video and hit that subscribe button if you aren't already subscribed. I post regularly and we talk about Black mental health and self-care on this channel. So back to what I was saying, our mind and body were not made for this. And knowing this, that, you know, working 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, we were not supposed to be working like this. This is too much for our bodies, but we have to. And knowing that we have to, and knowing that also our bodies were not made to experience racism, because, you know, we were living in Africa where everyone looked like us. And because this system was created to destroy us and to make us slaves, this is something we have to live with now. And that's why it's even more important for us to actually practice self-care, because, and I can guarantee you, a majority of you are not doing that because we leave that last. Self-care is, if I have time for it, I will do it. But that's not how it's supposed to be. So I'm just here to tell you that the reason why I'm making this video is because I was experiencing the usual. And many of you may relate, especially Black women. The people pleasing nonsense that I've been trying to overcome my whole life. As a Sudanese woman, it's almost a duty for us to people please. And this is a disease, okay? It's a mental disease to constantly think about other people. And it's not even about physically doing these things, it's about being consumed in your mind. It consumes you. You're always thinking about, oh, how is this person? Oh, did I, react in a way that's acceptable? Are they thinking in this way about me? What more can I do? And you know what? We take this as Black people, generally speaking, and we apply this to work. Oh, did I do a good job on this workshop? Did I do enough? Does my boss like me? Who gives a sorry, I'm not supposed to swear. Who cares? Honestly, like, we have to get to a point where we say, you know what? And many of you will not realize this until you go through some major health issues. So I'm here to tell you, please don't wait until you go through those health issues to realize that your health is more important than your work. And I know that a lot of you are not privileged. Most of us don't have the privilege to, just have someone pay for our lives. And so we have to work, but I'm just letting you know that if you don't have the body, if you don't have your mental health, physical health, then you won't be able to work that job and pay your rent anyway. And what happened to me in 2020 was my health situation became so bad that I couldn't even do my job. My voice, it was really difficult for me to speak, and I do workshops for a living. So now I'm at a point where I can do everything, but I waited until a point where I couldn't even do that. So I'm just letting you know, don't, like, even you don't need privilege to understand. You don't need to go through health issues to understand. Just listen to my story, my advice, other people's stories. You hear about people having, I don't know, being diagnosed with diabetes, high blood pressure, hypertension, cancer. And, some people overcome it, some people do not, right? Don't wait until that's you. So I'm here to tell you that, today I was, in my mind, and, I'm human. I'm human too. I was thinking about, my parents, my family, my future. And automatically, because I've become so in tune with my body, I felt it in my muscles. I felt it in my cells. I just became physically tired. And because I'm so in tune with myself now, I'm able to catch it right away. So I'm just here to tell you that your cells are listening to your thoughts. And it's an accumulation of years of thinking and feeling in this way. Hello, Patrick. And I'm not sure who Ames is, but that does look like a virus. So do not click on that. I don't know. I heard that sometimes people come and they, the subscribers click on them and then they get hacked or something. I don't know what VYN is. That seems random. Anyway, so my point is, your cells are listening to your thoughts, and it's an accumulation of bad habits that leads you to health problems. And like I said, as Black people, and especially women, Black women, we are trained to feel these type of to act in certain ways. We're trained to overcompensate for our Blackness, for example, at work, because our employers are, you know we don't want them to think we're lazy, or we want to be the best employer, or we want that promotion knowing that they're automatically going to give it to this white person over you, and so we have to work harder. I'm just letting you know that if they want to give it to someone else, they're going to give it to that person regardless. So you overcompensating and working harder will not really get you the results that you're looking for. And in fact, it's going to backfire, and as a result, like you're going to see it in your body. Hello, exposures, certain exposures, welcome. So, I guess I have a few points that I wrote down, and I know you guys haven't seen my face lately, but I'd rather post than not post. So here I am. I will eventually post my regular videos, but yeah. So I wanted to share another thing that I realized, diet. So a few things that stress us out are huge ones are our personality traits. So that's what I was talking about. Being a people pleaser, tying ourselves to our work, and most of the time, most of the time this is a man-related issue, but for some reason I have that too. Um, we tie our identities to our work. So this is not a good thing either. We need to find our identities outside of what we do and really admire ourselves outside of what we do. And what we do will not determine, because if we relate it to what we do, we can work, bust our butts off, and not get results because of how the system is set up. So, uncoupling those two things, work and our identity, is really important for our overall health, because then we can find gratitude and satisfaction in just being who we are. And again, that's much easier said than done, especially if this applies to you. So there are personality issues associated to stress, clearly. And that's something you all need to reflect on. Are you a people pleaser? Are you tied to what you do? What do you do that's actually very problematic for you? Reflect on that and try to change it slowly. It takes years to undo these patterns that, especially if it's a personality trait. Um, and now the other thing is food. Like I said, I realized recently, when I mean recently, I attended this workshop. There's a black doctor, I forgot her name, uh, and it was on Instagram that I watched live. She said she was talking about breast cancer, and she talked about diet. Just as a side note, she said that if you are a blood type O, then this is a blood type that's highly dependent on it's highly dependent on meat eaters, eating meat and fish. And I'm a blood type O. And if you followed my journey, I used to be vegetarian for 2 years, and that completely destroyed me. So when I talk about diet and stress, the stress that it has on your body, I'm talking about uh, doing things like this, just trying a diet that is not really applicable to everyone. So if you are blood type O, whatever your blood type is, you need to eat more meat, more meat, more vegetables, more fish. And those are the two things that I cut off from yeah, I'm an O negative, Misty. I cut off meat and fish. And so it's no wonder I automatically became anemic. So if you hear about all these diets, don't just jump on. Really do your research. Ask your doctors. Make sure you have a good doctor, because, we know how doctors are. But yeah, like the food that you eat will determine the state of your health. So, if your blood type allows for it and you want to be vegetarian, go ahead. But if it does not, and it's not worth the risk, because I tried the vegetarian diet thinking I'm gonna be more healthy, and in fact, it destroyed my health. If you guys were following me years ago, then you'll know how skinny I was. Just generally, it aged me. And the moment I started eating meat again, I yeah, I just feel a lot healthier. The muscles back in my muscles are, back to how they used to be. I'm just generally way more energetic. So, food, what are you putting in your body? Let me just read. Let me just read the comments. Why do you think the world is so evil, Loza? Because let me read the comments before I answer this. Kiefer said, yeah, the world sucks. Just had a panic attack, man, because of it. Oh God, sorry for laughing. It's just my default. And yeah, I think that there are a lot of evil people in this world. And I think that the systems that are set up are made to suit a certain group of people while failing everybody else. And yeah, so we're just working against this big machine. Um, and it's almost like, anyway, I don't believe the world sucks. I think it's a beautiful world once we create and find our communities. That's why I encourage you all to go surround yourself with people who have the same intersectionalities as you, or different ones, like those of us who have been traumatized by racism, may have less tolerance for it. That's me. Um, yeah, so those of us who have experienced a lot of racism and sexism and also sorts of other BS, we have less tolerance for it, and that's okay. So back to what I was saying. Food, personality type. So we've addressed kind of food, and now what type of food are you eating? Are you eating quality food? I know that it's la, 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 la. Remove. Okay, there we go. Nope. Put user in timeout. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I have no patience, like I said, so I put this person on timeout. Let me see if I can block them from my channel. Hide user on this channel. There we go. Yeah, I have no patience anymore, honestly, and neither should you. Now, like I was saying, personality types. Okay, so, oh yeah, food. I know that it's more expensive for us to buy the quality meats. It's more expensive for us to buy vegetables. Again, this is another example of why the system is messed up because why are vegetables so expensive? Think about it. Why is food so expensive? This is a capitalist society that we live in, and anyone who says otherwise lives in a nice world of privilege, right? So, where are the messages? And yeah, Kiefer, sorry for the panic attack, but that's something we need to reflect on. If you're having panic attacks, this is probably anxiety prone. You're probably anxiety prone. And, we allow things to just pile up, pile up, pile up, and we don't address them right away. And that's how we end up having panic attacks. I am very familiar with that. I used to get them regularly, especially as a kid. When I was in high school, I used to get them on a regular basis. But now I think the last time I had one was last year, sometime early last year. And or was it 2020? Actually, I don't remember, but it's been a while, my point is. And yeah, it's a mental health issue. So something to pay attention to and be kind with yourself. Don't judge yourself for it. It's a really rough system that we live in. But I do not agree though. I think that it is a beautiful world. Once you find your people, and once you find your people, then you can move together, you can build together. That's the point I'm at right now. So I hope you consciously create that world that you want to live in, by finding the people and building those communities that you want, you know? Okay, so now exercise. I have exercise here. The same doctor, honestly, I'm gonna find her name and I'm gonna put it in the chat box. Not now, after I post this video, probably tomorrow, because it's like 1 o'clock in the morning here in Toronto. And yeah, I'll just post it tomorrow. She's amazing. And she said that we have to exercise half an hour every day. And what exercise looks like is walking, going for a walk for half an hour. You can go to the gym for half an hour minimum. You can dance in your room. That is free, just blast some music, jump around, uh, climb the stairs in your apartment building. But if you can get in half an hour every day, that is amazing. That's going to guarantee you lifelong, like a healthy life. And for those of you who are thinking this is something you cannot do, my parents do this regularly. And my mom is almost 60, my dad is almost 70. So what's your excuse? And and this is not to shame you, by the way. It's like I said, easier said than done, and we have so many mental health barriers that prevent us from doing it. But at the end of the day, in order to overcome those mental health issues, we have to start somewhere, because it's this horrible cycle of, okay, I'm not going to exercise today, then I have mental health issues, and then I have physical health issues, and and it's a cycle. But if you start, just, I don't know, if you're in Toronto, it's cold, put on a jacket, dress really warm, and go walk to, down the street and back, down the street and back, down the street and back, or walk to the park and back. That's a pretty good routine. Walk to the grocery store and back. While you're in the grocery store, you're going to be shopping. So that's walking. But it has to be done. And me personally, right now, I have so many things in place. I do yoga a few times a week, and it looks different, like sometimes I'll do 10 minutes of yoga. Then I'll go to my actual yoga class where I do, I don't know, an hour. And then I have a personal trainer every 2 weeks. And no, I'm not rich, but I've budgeted for that because my health is important. It's actually really expensive for me. And he's a friend of a friend, and he gave me a discount. So my point is, it's necessary. And, like, I'm pretty sure, I don't know, if you go shopping on Amazon, I'm pretty sure if you calculate all the things you bought, you can put that aside. Or maybe you buy coffee every day. Coffee is not necessary. If you put that money aside, you can make time for the things that actually matter. So exercise is necessary for your mental and physical health. So now we talked about personality types, exercise, and food. Now, time is another huge stressor. Hello, Shansi TV. Welcome. Don't know if I'm saying your name right, but welcome. What time is it where you're at, by the way, everyone? Let me know in the chat box. I'm just curious. And where are you at? So time management. And so for some people who do have a hard time managing their time, this can be a huge stressor, because now you're finding yourself doing things last minute. Okay, someone said 1:04 a.m. Yeah, if I click away and I check the time, I think it's probably around the same time here. 1 a.m. Eastern time. Yes, okay, so it is the same time for me too. North Carolina, nice. So yes, time. For those of you who have a hard time managing time, this can be a huge stressor. Maybe you're finding yourself rushing to work or rushing to do things and rushing here and there, because you don't give yourself enough time. Managing your time better will take away so much stress. But if you're someone like me who's amazing at managing time, and you're even just a little bit late for things, you need to chill. That's something I'm trying to do. I'm trying to chill, and I've gotten so much better at it. I'm trying to, if I'm late, not to chew my head off. If I'm going to hang out with some friends, because I hate it when people are late to meet up with me. So, because, yeah, okay, I'm anal. There we go. I'm A-type personality. I'm A-type. And when people are late, I used to lose it because I saw that as such disrespect to my time. And then I realized that, this is not how my ancestors lived. This is not how, back home to this day, this is not how we live. And in fact, it's actually a good thing to just not stress over when and what time and whatever, especially when it's not related to work. So if it's related to work, it's a good thing to have these skills. When it's related to your chill time, just please chill. And I'm learning to do that. And believe it or not, it's really difficult for me. So, so whichever category you fall under, learn to chill or learn to manage your time better. But these are the little ways that uh, you know, we stress. And then the final thing that I want to focus on, how I said there's personality types. There's also, which this one is not talked about a lot, and neither is the personality types. Personality types is a huge stressor, and repression of identity is also a huge stressor. And I cannot talk about this enough. So, for example, um, I come from a country where freedom of thought is not allowed. You're just not allowed to think. You're not allowed to think outside of the status quo or queue or whatever the word is. You're not allowed to think for yourself. So the culture that I'm from really controls every aspect of your life, from what you drink. And if you all know what's going on in Sudan right now, we've been trying to have a revolution since 2019, since forever actually. But 2019 was successful ish. But then the dictatorship came and, the military came and they took over again. Now people are dying all over. And it's sad to watch because what the youth are fighting for is freedom of speech, freedom of thought, freedom of sexual orientation, freedom of religion, freedom of gender expression. People are just fighting women's rights, okay? Just simple, it's simple, basic things, freedom of thought. Things that we take for granted here. Who is Art? I don't see Art. I don't see a message from Art. Are you all seeing? I don't see any messages from Art. Interesting. Oh, let me just see the live chat. Okay. It's different? No, it's not. Okay, anyway, I don't see any messages from Art. So repression of identity, I cannot tell you how important it is for us to express ourselves freely. Authenticity is key for our mental and physical and spiritual freedom. Bob Marley said, this is one of my favorite quotes, mental slavery. Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. Yeah, and this applies in every single way. So, whatever that means for you, find it and practice it. Be authentic. And I'm going to make a whole video about this again. I made a part 1 a while ago. I'm going to make a part 2 soon. But your cells are eavesdropping on your thoughts. So, whatever it is that you think, if you're not true to yourself, then your body feels that. Your body feels it. Your body knows it. Your body knows when you're not being real. And so it's so important for you to really lean in on that. I'm going to give you an example, actually, a short story, something that happened recently. So my parents are here, and my father worked with the United Nations. And like I told you, we all have PTSD, okay? And my dad has it the worst. He worked in Afghanistan during the Taliban, and he's seen things that the average person does not. And he's only shared a few stories with us. He's seen people DIE. He's experienced explosions, experienced all sorts of stuff. And recently, and he's not an emotional person, by the way, but as he's aged, just think of your typical African man. That's how he was majority of the time that I've known him. But over the last few years since he's retired, um, he's become more sensitive and leaned in more on his emotional side, which is, again, so important because men, you are not immune to emotions. You are not immune to it. Your body hears that, feels that, and then what ends up happening is you DIE young. And unless you find healthy ways to release that, then it's going to, your body keeps the score. It's going to develop into so many other health issues, which he had, and still has. But um, okay, that's what you mean by Shansi. Okay, I'm going to answer that question in a little bit. Um, my point is, my dad, recently, I was just, you know, talking to him and my mom about my health issues, my health journey, and how difficult it's been for me the past few years. And my dad told me, you have a lot of repressed emotions. And this is the first time, by the way, mind you, that my dad and I have like a heart-to-heart conversation about emotions, especially coming from him because he was the one that raised me to not cry. He was the one that used to, shame me for crying so much. Um, that's what I mean by he was the typical African guy. Um, but then over the years, he's realized that that doesn't help anyone, not himself, not us. And he told me that he's in the middle of writing a book. And he said after he finished writing it, it needs to be edited and published, etc. But after he finished writing it, um, he felt so good because he just let all his emotions in that book. And he told me the reason why I'm experiencing so much stress is because I have all these emotions that are just like not exiting my body. And I talk to all of you about this on a regular, but it's very hard to actually do. And I've gotten so much better at doing it, but I'm still not where I want to be. So the reason why I'm sharing the stories with you is because this is my almost 70-year-old dad. And he told me it took him 7 years after retirement to get to the point he's at now of just not allowing things to affect him, not to harbor emotions, negativity, all this stuff, to just let it bounce off, go in one ear and out the other. It took him 7 years to develop this beautiful skill. And so I'm going to just let you all know that you all need to do the same. And it doesn't matter what your gender is, if you are human. And by the way, animals, cats, dogs, any animal that you know, um, they get depressed. Do you know this? They experience depression. They get traumatized. So if, as humans, we're such complex creatures, there definitely needs to be a way for you to find a way to remove that out of your body. The body keeps the score. And so, yeah, I just wanted to come on here and share this with all of you. Repression of identity, repression of emotions, which is usually tied to identity, repression of thought, which, again, identity, sexuality, gender, yeah, and even your blackness, not even your black, especially your blackness, we kind of play it small as black people because we don't want to experience the BS that's in this world, and whatever, if you need to play it small to be safe at work, then continue doing that, but make sure that you during the circles that you create outside of that. Because work is about safety. That's your safety, your mental safety, whatever that means to you. If you have to do that, do that. It's not good for you, but I'm saying the circles that you choose outside of work, they need to be safe. They need to be they need to reflect your intersectional identities, and they need to be a place where you can be authentic. So if you don't have that, find it, create it, and live in it. Move together. Your friends move together when you go out. Yeah, that's where the power lies. And when you're in your home has to be safe. That's another thing. If your home is not safe, you got to slowly find a different place, work towards it. And again, I'm giving you advice as if it's easy. It's not, it takes time. But make that, set an intention. So let's go over it again before I, look at the comments. Food, exercise, personality types, that's going to take years. It took my dad 7 years after retirement, like I said. So it's going to take years to reverse whatever that is. We're a work in progress, right? You are a work in progress. Be gentle on yourself, and keep working towards mental and physical safety. Yeah, so personality types, time and productivity. So chill, chill, and or manage your time better, whichever category you fall into. And repression of identity, lack of authenticity. So authenticity is a must. Okay, now let me read the comments. Okay, so Shanse TV. Now I understand your comment. You said art is muted as well. PS Sudan and being muted are artists muted as well. Yes. So in the last, and even now in this dictatorship, and the sad thing about Africa is this. Just generally Africa. Obviously some countries are better than others, but you know, some countries are getting there, others are not. But let me just speak specifically about Sudan is we have so much potential, and because of certain countries in this world have just been exposed to so much because it's in the best interest of the colonizers to keep those countries poor and in war constantly. Sudan is one of them. Afghanistan is another. Countries that have the most resources. In Sudan, we have oil. We have so many other resources. We have pyramids. Did you know the oldest pyramids are actually in Sudan, not Egypt? And in fact, a long time ago, Egypt intentionally, by Egypt I mean like the Arabs, intentionally drowned such a huge historical piece so that we do not make money, steal basically their tourism, because majority of the tourists will be coming to Sudan instead of Egypt. So it's all politics in the end. The reason why this militia took over now is because politics, because it's being funded by Egypt and other Arab countries. And it's sad because the youth are there fighting. So I want to just let all of you know, anyone who's watching this, um, you know, you've seen how Ukrainians are treating Africans now, and yet I see a lot of black people hashtag save Ukraine BS. I'm sorry, that's like some BS. Like, I'm not saying I want to promote, like I feel bad for the civilians who, no one should ever go through war, but hashtag save Sudan, hashtag bring attention to what's going on in Sudan and African countries. So if you can use your platforms to uplift your own people. Because right now in Ukraine, I don't know if you know, a lot of Black international students, African international students, are not allowed to leave the country and are being asked to fight for Ukraine, like pick up arms and fight for them, while or pay the government money to leave. This is ridiculous. So let me just read one other comment and then I'm gonna go. I know right after I heard what the Ukrainians were doing to the African refugees, I completely lost sympathy and may sound harsh, but it's the truth. Yeah. Yeah, like right now, honestly, all of you, if you can bring attention to what's going on to Sudan and other African countries that need it, or even Caribbean countries, trying to remember the history. In all honesty, I don't even know my own history. But yes, a huge part of Nubia is in Sudan. A huge part of it is in Sudan, and there are a lot of Nubian tribes in like still. But the reason why I don't know my history is because so much of it is Arab washed or um, African American washed. So, um, yeah, like people either brought in the sexist perspective to my history because I come from, ancestors who are pharaohs, women and men. And yet somehow that's been, sexism, which is a very European thing, has been put into that history, which is not the case because women used to rule Sudan and Egypt for a very long time. So that has been brought in, that sexist agenda has been brought in by, Black men who have been studying this history. And then the other agenda is Arabs and white people trying to whitewash our history, which really infuriates me as a Sudanese person. It really angers me. So yeah, I asked my dad recently to send me some documents about the actual history, and he said, it's actually really hard to find. He's gonna search for it and he's gonna send it to me, but he doesn't actually. We don't know our own history. That's the truth. It's been so washed up that we don't know. Exactly. In Yemen too. Like what's going on in Yemen is so sad. Like the thing is like they're pinning Middle Eastern people against each other. They're pinning Africans against each other. They're pinning, and ultimately it comes down to this. Let me tell you what the cure to all this is. There needs to be a universal validation of universal removal of anti-black racism. Do you think that's going to happen anytime soon? Nope. Because the root of white supremacy is anti-blackness. But in order for there to be a universal removal of that, that means Asians and just non-white people. I'm trying to, I'm trying to make this video without it being demonetized, but I think it's too late for that. Anyway, yeah, everyone needs to come together, but are they going to come together? I don't know. I don't think so. And yeah, so I want to stick to the same, I want to leave this video at that. But it's sad. There are just certain countries, I'm assuming Yemen is one of those countries that has been decided to just, go to war and not come out of it. But Sudan, like the one thing, if you actually go see what's going on in Sudan, it's actually so beautiful. But without that support, it's really difficult. So people are just like losing their lives, non-violent protests, going up against people who are violent, the military, and every day people are being killed. And it's just sad to see because the youth are the future of the country and they're the ones that are being taken down now. Anywho, off topic, but I want to just leave you again with the quote: your body keeps a score. Your thoughts, sorry, your cells are eavesdropping on your thoughts. So, one other point I wanted to bring is if you are someone who is constantly watching the news, while it's good to, to educate yourself, make sure if you are not able to emotionally disconnect from it, which is very difficult to do, then you need to minimize the news. If you are not able to emotionally disconnect from, watching, oh, this police brutality, da 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 da, then you need to minimize that. And I'm not saying like don't promote those videos, promote them, because those videos are necessary in order for us to see change. But if you're someone who's going to internalize that, that is secondary trauma, right? Constantly watching our people be treated a certain way, that is secondary trauma, and that does take a toll on your health. So set certain days off maybe, and then expose yourself to that when you're mentally okay, and then find a way to remove it from your body. So it is important for us to be, to know what's going on, but it's also really important for us to take care of ourselves. So secondary trauma is real, and we need to minimize how much exposure we have. Okay, everyone, thank you. I really wanted to post every Saturday, but I'm just gonna do videos like this when I feel like it. If I'm able to post on Saturdays, great. If not, you know, you'll just be hearing from me at random. And I will keep these videos up if I like them. And you guys can watch them after. So I love you all so much. Continue consciously taking care of yourselves. All right, bye. Hello, hello, Blue Fire. Thank you. Thank you for joining, and thank you for sharing as well. Bye, everyone. Have a good night.